Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to the September 14th City of Dauphin Council meeting. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land known as First Nations territory, homeland of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and the Métis Nation. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting be amended as follows. The addition 9E used storage sheds at 20 Johnson Street. And again, we'll follow the protocol. If I don't hear any objection, the motion is carried. Okay. I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts the regular agenda as amended. Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, the special council meeting of July 16th and the regular council meeting of August 17th, 2020. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. All the councillors are in attendance, right? Yeah. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. Now, council will now commence to hear representations from the applicant and any other persons who wish to make representation for this scheduled public hearing. Anyone who has not registered but wishes to make a presentation for the public hearing, please state your name so we can add you to the registration list. And we have registered Francis Chartrand, correct?
Yes.
And Jim Nakonechny.
Correct.
Fabian is on the line or two, or?
Yes, I am. I'm here with Vice President Chartrand.
Okay. And Dean Severson? Is he from Unit 7 Architecture?
I did talk to him earlier today. He had plans of attending, but something must have came up.
Oh, okay. So I'll say absent. Okay, we will now proceed with the public hearing for variance application 1203-1000/VO-20-01/06 for owner Northwest Métis Council, care of Francis Chartrand, and applicant Unit 7 Architecture, Inc., care of Dean Svelerson, to allow off-street parking on 13 and 19 5th Avenue Southeast. That's lot 16 and 17, block 44, plan 336 DLTO for a proposed office building at 422 Main Street South, lot 1, Southwest LY half to Block 27, Plan 336 DLTO in a commercial central zone and to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. So we are looking at the parking for the proposed building. Would the applicant like to speak in favor of the application?
Thank you. So just for everyone to know that we've purchased the property from Sneed Strelchuk about a year and a half ago, and we've been working on a plan to build a new administration office for the Northwest Métis Council because of the expansion of staff that we presently have. To date, we presently employ 160 staff with Mitchell Children's Place, and we employ 30 staff with the administration aspect of it. So we've outgrown our building that we presently have at 41st Avenue Northwest. So we've secured property, and we're building an office where we could have approximately 50 staff. Because there'll be no space for us to park in our area, and we bought all the property around there that was owned by Sneed Strelchuk. So we're asking for a variance that we have our staff park across the street.
Okay. Anybody else to speak in favor? Does council have any questions of the applicant for clarification purposes only? Anybody from council?
I do, Al.
Okay, go ahead. Deputy Mayor Riel.
I remember on the last variance that we were short a few parking stalls. Where do you envision, if you're going to park, make it one parking lot, is there going to be enough stalls there?
Yes, actually, our architectural team has worked very closely with both Dave and Bill at the City of Dauphin to ensure that we have adequate parking over the two lots off of 5th Avenue. I have also arranged for conjoining of the lots with Balkan and Kolchecki surveys as per the direction of Mr. Durkatch at City Hall.
And I can't recall, Fabian, is there a crosswalk there going across the street?
No, there is not.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other person present in support of this application who wishes to speak? Hearing none, is there any person present who wishes to speak in objection to this application? Is there anybody who wants to speak in objection?
Okay, this is Jim Nakonechny.
Go ahead, Mr. Nakonechny.
I live on 16 Fifth Avenue Southeast, which is right across, my house is right across from the parking lot that you guys are proposing. So my question is, the crosswalk itself from the parking lot, where it is going to be taking place, like which side is it going, or is everybody going to be walking towards my house and then across to the building that you guys are proposing? Or is the crosswalk going to be further down to Main Street and then across to the front entrance? That's my question.
I think it would probably be safest to have it on the corner of 5th and Main Street because we're going to be entering through the front entrance anyway.
Okay.
So like they'd walk down the sidewalk right next to the old funeral home and then cross properly at the intersection by the stop sign.
Okay. Okay, that answers my question.
And if I could just add on to that, we have to be diligent with everything that's been happening now with COVID-19. So we'll make sure that we have certain restrictions where they use one door in and one door out. So this way we could streamline anybody coming in and out of our office, including the staff.
Okay. So, does council have any questions of the presenter for clarification purposes only?
I do, Al.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're going to have your office on one side of Main Street, and then the daycare is on the other side of Main Street and just down a block, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just trying to think about the nearest crosswalk. So in terms of crossing Main Street at that point, that's still an uncontrolled kind of thing. There's no crosswalks or anything going across Main Street, correct?
That is correct. There isn't. However, I'd like to point out that the daycare staff will be parking on site at the daycare, and our office site will be only using this parking lot in question today.
Okay.
So no one should really have any need to cross the street.
Yeah, and just further to that, once the parents drop off the children at the daycare, our entrance for the children will be at the back, right in conjunction with Whitmore School. So
Okay.
we have an area there for drop off and pickup, and we're working directly in partnership with the school division. And we have already purchased a bus and we purchased a van to make sure that once the children get dropped off in the morning, they won't have to be going out unless they go on field trips, and they'll be picked up strictly from their parents at the back, not the front, not on Main Street.
Okay.
Everything will be in the back.
Okay. Okay, good. I just want to make sure everybody's safe and people are able to move where they need to move without any interactions with vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Nekonechny, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen how it's going to work. But I do agree with the people walking down the sidewalk up to the corner of Main Street and then across. I agree with that, eh?
Okay.
But if there's going to be people in the back lane dropping off, then that's a different question. That's a different.
Oh, that's on the daycare across the street.
I'm not concerned about the daycare. I'm concerned about the office.
So you're okay with the you support the variation?
For the daycare?
No, for the office building. We're talking about the parking for the office building.
I'm okay with the parking as long
Okay.
as, like, I wanted to know what I wanted to know here. I wanted to know where the people are going to be walking and going across. So they've answered that question for me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the representations for this public hearing are now completed. Thank you to those who joined us for the public hearing. Council decision on this application will be final and not subject to appeal.
Excuse me, Your Eminence.
Yeah,
May I so rudely interrupt?
go ahead.
Are we done with the comments that I have to make on the office building?
Yeah.
I haven't made no comments yet on that office building.
No, what we're the variance is just for the parking for it.
So this is nothing to do with the office building that's across
No.
from my house?
No.
Oh, somehow I was told different when I was at your office, at the town office.
Bill, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
So just clarify for Mr. Nekonechny.
Yes, so the office building itself is an approved use. There is no variation. There's nothing required to allow the building, other than it'll obviously have to be built to building code and those requirements. The only thing we're looking at right now is that there was not enough room on site to provide the required amount of parking, and that's what the variation is dealing with tonight, is that the parking for that office building will be on a separate site.
So may I speak now?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have 3 items here. That office building that you're putting up to the west of me, I have three grievances on that. So where do I voice my?
If I can interject, Mayor, this is only about parking. This is not about the building. This is a city manager.
Yeah.
So this is not
Okay, so
this is
somebody
not an opportunity to
misled me.
comment on that.
Your Eminence?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, someone misled me in your city hall office here because the letter that I received from them was to, if there's any objections that I had about the building, about the office building. This now it's understandable that there's nothing, I can't say anything about the office building, so it's not right now.
But
Hello?
the building is according to the development plan, and the only objections or any, and have to be built in Manitoba Building Code. And as the Director of Operations said, the only requirement was adequate parking. So they wanted, the applicant wanted to had the property behind Sneeze Trail Chuck, and that's the only reason there was a variance on the building of the building. But the building requirements have all been met.
Okay, so I have one question.
Okay,
Can I ask it?
go ahead.
When the building is up, and we have a downfall of rain, where is the water from that roof going to go? That's what I want to know. Where is the water from that roof going to flow? And where is it going to go? I need to know that.
Okay.
If
Hello?
it's Fabian here, it's Fabian from the Northwest.
Okay.
So, Jim, I'm the project coordinator, so I'm overseeing every aspect of building this building, and site drainage is one of the concerns we do have because the
Okay.
building will take up most of the lot. So we have taken that into consideration, and we are looking at all our options because we are taking into fact that we do have residential neighbors, and we basically, long story short, we don't want to piss them off. So we are looking and working very diligently to ensure that the offsite drainage will not affect either of the neighboring properties. So even if that means we have to somehow get the drainage all the way down to the weeping tile, whatever it takes. So that's still in the engineering phase yet.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Jim?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I have another question. Because of the building that is so close to the building is being built so close, encroaching the back lane. Okay. Now the traffic that you're going to have in there is there's going to have more traffic coming in there now. So my question is to you, is there going to be any type of quality control, dust control in there, in that area, in that little lane, that lane? Go ahead.
Right now, as it sits, Jim, we're set to be, the back corner of the building will be approximately 20 feet back from our property line.
Okay.
And just, having worked at Sneeds for so long, you're probably going to have less traffic with us there than when the funeral home was there, Jim.
Okay. It remains to be seen, right, Fabian?
No, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But really, there's not going to be, you're not going to have any circumstance where there's literally hundreds of people parking in front of your house and parking down the back lane and parking across the street. It's really just going to be come and go. They're probably there for an hour tops, with the exception of our staff that'll be parked across the parking lot.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with the parking lot. I have no objection to the parking lot. It's just I'm concerned about, because right now when it rains, just on the parking lot, we get a lot of water that comes onto a lot of water comes off that parking lot onto the back lane, and then it wants to flow to the north, and it can't because it's uphill. So now when you're putting a large building with a roof on it, that water is really going to be wanting to move somewhere. It wants to go somewhere. So that's my question: is where is that water going to go? That's a priority to myself and to Mr. Perpeluk.
I'm sure the engineers and the architects will take that into consideration, and the MMF are good citizens of our community, and as Fabian, the project manager, has said, they want happy neighbors. So, and
Okay.
I have great confidence in their actions to look at your concerns and provide a good solution for rainfall, etc.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good with that reply.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Fabian.
You're welcome, Jim. Thank you.
Anybody else? Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council now reconvenes to the regular council meeting. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Lachlan. Be it resolved that public hearing for variance application 1203 103 100/VO 20 06/06 owner applicant Northwest Métis Council, care of Francis Chartrand, and applicant Unit 7 architecture Dean Severson to allow off-street parking on 13 and 19 Fifth Avenue Southeast, lots 16 and 17, block 44, plan 336 DLTO for a proposed office building at 422 Main Street South, lot 1, and southwest LY half block, block 27, plan 336 DLTO in a commercial zone, and to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be now concluded. Call the question. Any question? All in favor? Motion carried.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I think there've been no, Mr. Nekoneshi's question was answered, so we'll move to get approval. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. No, what did I just say? Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, whereas due notice was given and with respect to variance application 1203 103100/VO 20 -01/06, and whereas no objections were received to this application, be it resolved that variance application 1203 103100/VO 20 0106 for owner Northwest Métis Council, care of Francis Chartrand, and applicant Unit 7 Architecture Inc., care of Dean Severson, to allow off-street parking at 13 and 19 Fifth Avenue Southeast, lots 16, 17, block 44, plan 336 DLTO for a proposed office building at 422 Main Street South, lot 1 and southwest LY half to block 27, plan 336 DLTO in a commercial central zone to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved with the following conditions. An agreement shall be entered into ensuring that the subject site remains together for the purpose of satisfying the parking requirements to comply with the bulk requirements of city zoning 04/2015, and a copy of the agreement shall be provided to the city. An agreement shall be registered as a caveat with the property. All costs associated with the preparation of the agreement and related caveat registration shall be responsibility of the owner applicant. The surface of the accessory off-street parking when its access driveway shall be surfaced and designed in such a manner that there will be no free flow of water onto either adjacent properties or along public sidewalks. Lighting used to eliminate an accessory off-street parking area shall be arranged so that it does not illuminate directly onto adjoining sites, streets, or lanes. Off-street parking areas shall be provided with bumper guards, wheel stops, masonry walls, or ornamental fences in order to prevent a vehicle from encroaching onto public or private property. Said bumper guards, wheel stops, masonry walls, or ornamental fences shall be maintained in good condition at all times. The owner or developer of the parking area shall construct and maintain a solid fence or hedge not less than 1.2 meters or more than 1.8 meters in height along the portion of the parking area boundary which abuts the said residential single-family zone. Any questions?
I have one more question, Your Eminence.
Yeah,
Can I speak now?
well,
Not really?
not.
That's fine.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
If you have
That's
any
fine.
questions, talk to Fabian,
Okay,
okay?
okay, okay.
Yeah.
You can feel free to give me a call at the office tomorrow if you want, Jim.
Well, I don't know if this would concern you, but if I may speak, you guys can cut me off if you want, but the parking on Fifth Avenue, is it going to be, I'd like to know, like, is there going to be parking both sides of the street, or is one side going to be no parking so we can put our garbage cans out with the rest of the people?
Oh yeah, that's up to the city.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's up to the city, yeah.
We'll look at that.
Yeah.
At that time. But most of the parking should be in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. But,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Remains to be seen, Your Eminence.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you. All in favor? Hearing no objections, the motion is carried.
Jim Nakanishny.
Is now exiting.
Okay, Francis, you're good to go.
Thank you very, very much, and we'll probably be coming for a few more hearings because we're building a few more buildings in town. I want for all their
Anytime.
continued work.
Okay, great.
Have a great evening.
Thank you,
You
everyone.
too. Bye-bye.
Francis Chartrand and Fabian Carrier.
Is now exiting.
Okay, moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that now council accepts as information presentation of Randy Daly and Pam Chatterbrook from the Crisis Prevention Task Force under one roof. I see you guys are all there. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, we hear you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm going to speak mostly on the Crisis Prevention Task Force, and Pam will speak mostly on the subcommittee of Under One Roof.
Okay.
So I'll be quick because Pam's got more important things to say than me. The Crisis Prevention Task Force became incorporated in July. I believe it was the 17th was the actual date of our incorporation as a nonprofit. We are currently processing our application to become a charitable status as well. Daryl Zamercut from Zablitny and Zamercut is currently working on that aspect. We are using and have Dawson and Bredisher Law Office or Law Corporation as our legal firm. Zablitny and Zamercut will be our accounting firm. We're currently set up and doing our banking with Fusion Credit Union. And we're working with Charlene Gulak of Parkland Community Futures as a partner stakeholder. She's been assisting us with grants, applications, and a business plan. The idea behind the business plan is, of course, to have a detailed plan put together so that we can make presentation to government, commercial, and private sector people to generate funding. We would like at some point to have enough funding that I should say enough sustainable funding that we don't have to chase grants all the time. We would like to, we are working with upper government levels to try and get ourselves on a line item on the budget as opposed to writing grants, because they're too short term and it makes it very difficult for us to do long-term planning. So that's one of our main goals, is to try and have some sustainable funding that will allow us to be more efficient and effective in the community. Over the summer, we've been fairly busy. We sent a crew down to Brandon to do a tour of 7th Street Access and Samaritan House, which are models that we're closely trying to emulate. And they have a really good system and setup there. And it's we're also trying to work with Prairie Mountain Health to gain some, again, more long-term funding through them, as they do a lot of funding for that 7th Street access in Brandon. It's a really good setup, and they're very cooperative with us in sharing all their information and assisting us in setting up a similar operation in Dauphin. Excuse me. We continue to plan and work on a warm, safe space for Dauphin. And part of that will go along with the negotiations we have, sorry, ongoing with Dauphin First United Church. The negotiations are going well. We're moving steadily forward. It's an enormous project for both the Dauphin First United Church and us. So we're not, well, we'd like to get things done quickly. We're not in a real big hurry because we want to make sure that everything is done properly and everything is as transparent as possibly can be. Again, it's a big deal to both parties, and we'll set up a lot of opportunities for the future. With respect to our planning, Crisis Prevention Task Force, on top of the subcommittee work of Under One Roof, we plan to do Rent Smart workshops once we can get back to gathering a little bit more, run some more ID clinics so we can get more people back on the grid. Census 2020 this year is by mail only. So we're going to try to work with people to provide them with an address along with their ID. We've estimated between 600 and 800 people in Dauphin are considered no fixed address, not necessarily homeless, but they really don't, they don't show up anywhere on anybody's statistics. That's a significant number for municipalities trying to record how many folks you actually are looking after here in your community. So we hope to take a chunk out of that by being able to provide an address that they can pick up their mail and then again have a piece of ID so that they can get on the grid and stay on the grid. We're also in planning and stages of development of training and mentoring programs that we would be working out of First United Church, again, once all of that is clear, and continue to partner and work with as many stakeholders as we can. Our goal is to be as self-sustainable as we can by utilizing that building for leasing opportunities for people. We already have, there are already lease opportunities in there that we will just assume once we take over. Plus we will have hopefully, Prairie Mountain Health and other organizations that will take up space there. We will still require funding, obviously, and support for long term. We are committed to the long term efforts of this organization because we understand that nothing gets cured in short term. So we're in this for the long haul. So that's where we sit right now. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions of councilors?
Yeah, I have a question, Al. First of all, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting to see and gratifying to see the work that you're doing with a population that has a lot of needs and that you know the steps to help them to meet those needs. 600 to 800 people without an address, that's huge. I'm just thinking that municipal funding from the province is based on our population. And certainly the next time we're having a census and we're getting our population counted, we need to check in with Under One Roof and just sort of keep tabs on that situation to ensure that everyone that's living in Dauphin is in fact counted so we can get the funding so we can offer what we need to offer to our citizens. So thank you for that piece of information and good luck doing the work that you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Any other councilors?
I've got a question for you, Randy. So you're looking at buying that building, the church. Crisis Prevention Task Force is going to take that over themselves. And what do you envision being in there long term? Do you have a vision?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we are intending to purchase the land and property of the First United Church. We have no money, but we still know how to make it work. But we have obviously the charitable status we're seeking will go a long way to helping us get some funding going that way. We hope to pass some of this off onto the private sector and the commercial people if we can, because we think that they should be partners in this endeavor. But also Fusion Credit Union is willing to step in and if needed, we'd prefer not to have a mortgage, but if we're in a position where we have to finish the agreement, then they will step in and assist us in that matter. Our long-term vision is I want to say something like a lightning rod, where everybody goes to that building to ask questions, find out what's going on, get service, get assessed, so they can go to one place. We hope that Prairie Mountain Health has been a big player in this, has supported us from day one. We'd like to see mental health workers there, street team, public health. AFM is actually AFM's on board and will be joining our task force formally at our next meeting. The Hero Club, we're working on a lease with them right now to come in October and or November, and they'll be there every day, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 or 9 to 5, whichever their hours are. So that's a training and mentoring process there, and we hope to build on that. We also have other organizations that are going to work from there, not necessarily full-time, but like Housing First, Manitoba Housing, Parkland Crossing. Those organizations will probably book them specific times that work with their schedule so people know. One of the biggest things we want to do is make sure we're open after hours. That was the whole premise behind when Pam and I first talked about this 2 years ago, was that piece that will be open till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, multiple nights. We haven't, of course, figured that out yet. But again, training and mentoring opportunities, skill building for employment, all of that we hope to be able to provide there, along with, again, ID clinics and those sorts of things. So a one-stop shop, basically.
Okay, thanks. And I just want to thank both of you for filling a gap that's needed in our community. And I think it's incredible that within 2 years, you've got a building that you're going to have. That's incredible. So again, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Councillor Eilers, I see your hand up.
I just wanted to ask, you are basically using Brandon as a source of following through with their services that they offer to the less fortunate in their community. Do they have secured funding as like a line in the budget with the provincial government or not?
No, theirs is it Prairie Mountain Health?
I can speak a little bit to that. They have several different groups and organizations that I guess put towards that project. So our hope is to model something similar that would work in Dauphin. So we're just sort of looking right now at getting some more information on how they operate. They do have set groups and organizations that are there all the time. Immigrant services, they have what they call the RAM clinic that is there. So they do have groups and organizations that are part of it and that pay towards being there. So the setup is our dream to have something like that, but it will be a process to get there. I can't say how long they have funding for, but I do think they have lines in different budgets that it's part of that they're able to continue year after year.
So theirs is quite sustainable at present, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I want to mimic what the other councillors have said. Thank you for all that you do in our community. It is very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Pam, are you the Pam that went to ACC?
Maybe, yeah, that's me. I was one of the first 1989
the first
graduates.
year?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good. Great doing your community work. Do you have a presentation, Pam?
Yeah, I'm just going to speak a little bit about sort of the actual Under One Roof project. Just
okay,
to
go
add
ahead.
some of Randy. The other things we would like to see there are like accessible washrooms, washer dryer, showers, community mailbox where people would actually have a set address, a place where people could come for coffee, food, computers. So it would really be a one-stop shop. So people could either come to access those specific services with the hopes that they would connect with some of the other people that are there, or we would be able to kind of gear them in the right direction. So as far as Under One Roof, we've been going for almost a year. So we started November 4th of last year, trying a Monday night to see what would happen. And we thought the worst that would happen is nobody would show up. But our first night, we actually had 18 people. As we moved forward, we always provided free transportation. There always was a hot meal. We did have some service providers that came. We had coffee, cards, people that mingled around. We had childcare to give some of the families sort of a rest and could sit and have a coffee and talk to people around the table. When we were getting more into it, we would average about 45 people to 50 people a night. Then COVID hit, and we had to make some really fast decisions of how we were going to help the people where all of their services or most of their services were being cut. They had no access to public bathrooms, all those kind of things. So we knew that we couldn't just stop doing Under One Roof. So we did some quick sort of configurating, and we decided we would go to a delivery model. So we switched everything around, and we started doing delivery of meals. On average, we've had up to some nights where there's 190 meals that we deliver within the community. It takes us about 2.5 hours. As of right now, they're out doing deliveries right now. And we were busy helping with sandwiches and getting packages ready. So along with doing deliveries, we also hand out hygiene packages to people. We had mental health packages for kids. We've had some of the staff come in with harm reduction supplies. People have asked us for milk, whatever it is. So we try to meet the needs the best that we can. So that being said, with COVID coming, our numbers have tripled and our costs for meals have tripled. And so we have a small core of volunteers that help us out. The one thing we're missing right now is we don't have the service providers there, and we're hoping when this orange restriction gets lifted that we could start doing some sit-down meals again, although it would look much differently because we'd have to have people one door in, one door out. But all the people that we do help have asked, they're asking when can we come back because they're really wanting to come back. And also since springtime, I guess, we've started to encourage people to come back and pick meals up. So we're having some contact with them there too and helping them sort of however we can. Everybody got this little handout, 4-page handout. So that kind of explains, more stats about what we have done and what we're noticed and moving forward. The one thing I think I've noticed the most is we have Manitoba Housing that's come on board, and Sam from Manitoba Housing has shown us gaps where seniors, we're going to the high rise in Happy Haven. We probably have on average 20 to 25 meals that we deliver at each place, and people are coming forward more and more. So we're noticing having the transportation people coming down wasn't helping the seniors that weren't able to get out of their homes. So we've noticed that's been one thing that we hadn't noticed. I don't know, I could talk and talk and talk, but I think I'll stop there and see if you guys have any questions about the Under One Roof program.
Councillors, questions of Pam? Any questions?
So
Council?
I just wanted to say thank you for that report, and quite extensive. Also for all the meals that you prepare. I wasn't able to come because I'm usually here at City Hall, so that's one thing that's. Do you accept donations from people like food or anything in that regards? And I imagine you accept financial support as well.
Yeah, we if anything that's food related, it would be something that would have to. We can't accept homemade muffins, but we'd love to. It would have to be something that's bought from a store. Now we'd have to accept things that are individually wrapped because of COVID. But we did have people that would donate. So if you wanted to donate fruit or made from a store, any kind of goodies or whatever you'd like to call them. So we will take that. We will definitely 100% take any financial donations. Mm-hmm. And we also, we haven't done it, but when we started, we just put a call out on social media asking for toiletries. So shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, toothbrushes, blankets. We need to kind of start doing a drive now for toques and mitts, that kind of thing, as the weather's getting colder. And everything with all those donations that came in was all community. We've almost had to buy nothing except for our food supplies. And now, of course, with COVID, PPE supplies, so hand sanitizer, masks, all that sort of thing. So that's another thing that's kind of upped our budget. But most things were from donations from within the community, whether it was individuals or businesses or organizations. So people have been very good that way.
My next question is, when can people drop off their supplies? Do you have a certain time set aside for people being able to offer their donations?
We had before COVID. Actually, we have just got a bit of funding money from the Canadian Red Cross for COVID expenses. We were able to hire a coordinator. So we actually have a coordinator for the next 3 months working part-time. And Althea will be there Mondays. So we have our own cell phone, so I can get the number to everybody and you can give her a call or text her, and unless she's running around picking up food and getting things ready, but Mondays is the day that we would accept.
It's that number, Patty, that's on the little poster?
Yeah.
That's what she'll have.
Yeah.
Would be good to put on social media, that number.
Yeah, we post that poster every week.
Okay,
yeah, it
great.
goes out. Yeah.
I'd just like to put to emphasis on one thing that we've learned in the last year and a half while we've been doing this. The idea that people who are poor or in need know where to go and know how to access service is a fallacy. Most of our clients have no idea where to go or how to access a service. So part of the problem with the system, which is why we started this, is we open the doors at 4:30 for every agency in town, and we say we're open and we're here till, or 8:30 to 4:30. But the clients don't really know that. And that's why it's so important for us to get them to go to this, the one place to find out. It was stunning to me to know that, to talk to people that really had no idea that they could access services or finance or housing. They just thought this, the way it is the way it is. So we those of us that live in privilege, we don't see it because we don't live it. But then when you talk to these folks, it is fairly stunning to learn what how much need there really is. But I just wanted to put that out there so people kind of get that, because there's that whole thing about everybody who's in need really they made a bad choice, or they're living the life they want to. It's their fault, that kind of thing. So we're just trying to change everybody's opinion one person at a time.
Good. Any other questions of councilors? Hearing none. In the last municipal election, Randy came to me and talked about this sort of, I guess, a task force on poverty and that. And after the election, I challenged them to do something about it, and we'd support them. And I really kudos to Randy for taking the mantle and getting things organized. And good to see a former student, Pam. Her passion towards the project is really amazing. So thank you for your good work, and we'll be around. And if you have any other questions or needs, please come forward. It's a great project for community, and I hope it's a model that will be followed by other communities. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. First, on the consent agenda, the everything's moving now. Okay. Outstanding water accounts added to taxes. $440.39 at 34 3rd Avenue Southwest. $1,142.46 at 114 2nd Avenue Northwest. Both of these previous tenants did not pay the final utility bill. 133 4th Avenue Southwest, $24.69. Owner did not pay final utility bill. 224 5th Avenue Northeast, $130.83. Same thing, owner did not pay final utility bill. 207 Kirby Avenue West, $19.18. Owner did not pay final utility bill. 125th Avenue Southeast, $130.24. Previous tenant did not pay final utility bill. As recommended by Director of Finance and Utility Clerk. Outstanding accounts receivable added to taxes. $861.65. 212 at 212 2nd Avenue Southwest for temporary unit storage units 2020. $446.45 48 Industrial Road temporary storage unit 2020. $775 at 24 3rd Avenue Southwest, water meter, compost bin, and recycling bin costs for a total of $2,083.10 as recommended by the Director of Finance and Tax Clerk. The filing items, AMM 2020 Annual Convention, our request for funding, Handy Fan Services, Parkland Directors Update 2020, news releases, Western Canada Municipal Association meet in Winnipeg, news bulletin of August 28, 2020, member advisories on COVID, executive elections, a message from AMM President Ralph Goring, council members code of conduct sample bylaw, LGA consultation for cannabis consumption spaces, towards parity in municipal politics webpage, and Bill 48 frequently answered questions update. FCM, the Sustainable Communities Conference, it's a virtual one this year, so I can't remember the dates, but if over 2 or 3 days, but councillors want to register for it, it's very reasonable. FCM Connect on August 25th and September 1st, municipal relations, council members, codes of conduct sample bylaw, Manitoba government releases, COVID-19 bulletin, state of emergency extension, and economic development and training, $134 million interprovincial agreement for the Western College of Vet Medicine, Prairie Mountain Health newsletter of September 2020, Mountain View School Division News Digest August 20th, Growing Manitoba Ag September 20th, Recycle Everywhere August 20th, 20, Community Future Parkland newsletter July and August 2020, Stars Manitoba update August 15th to the 31st, 2020, Minister of Health, Seniors and Active Living, the expansion of dialysis services, Province of Manitoba Disability Issues Office, Manitoba Accessibility Award, Canadian Mental Health Association Poster Contest, barrier-free Canadian Accessibility Research Grant status update, as recommended by the Mayor and City Managers. Any questions?
Yes,
I'll
I
call the
have one.
questions. Go ahead. Who is it?
I was concerned about the one water bill. I wanted to know the background. That's over $1,142.46. I've requested our city manager to get more information on that.
And so I have sent a message to the Director of Finance to get that. Without knowing the exact property off the top of my head, I'm wondering if it is a multifamily dwelling and we cannot shut the water off. So if it's if there's non-payment by the tenant or the landlord, it would have to be added to taxes. But let me confirm that, please.
Okay, could you send it out to all councillors?
Certainly.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for September 14th, 2020 regular council meeting. That of the City Manager. Go ahead, City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It has been 4 weeks since our last meeting, so it appears that I've gone to a lot of meetings, but that is a whole month's worth. And there's been, I guess, in previous reports, I have noted if the meeting was via the internet or if it was in public or in person, I mean, and really we're starting to meet in person again. A lot of these meetings are small groups, and there's only a few by Zoom or by the internet. A few of the updates I wanted to provide everybody. The first one is the standard one on the COVID-19 and how it's affecting city operations. So we do go back to August 19th when the province implemented the Restart Manitoba Pandemic Response System. And that was that color-coded system where everybody started at yellow. And within a day, Prairie Mountain Health went up to orange or restricted. Two of the major things that had to happen in Prairie Mountain Health was, again, limiting gatherings down to 10 people and to wearing masks in public spaces when physical distancing is not possible. Therefore, mask use is mandatory in City Hall in the public areas, and that's for when staff, that's for staff as well as the public. And then we also have staff wearing masks in the private area while we're not able to physical distance. We only, in the course of the last few weeks, we've only had one large meeting cancel, and that was with Travel Manitoba, and they were to do a stakeholder meeting in town for place branding. So that project has been put on hold because of this restriction. Something else that we're working on is a communication strategy to provide COVID-19 information from the city. We have posted several pieces on social media to date from our mayor, from our deputy mayor, and myself, and we'll continue to do so into the fall. Further, we want to amplify the pertinent posts from official sources like the province or a local school division or other organizations or businesses. And that's as things arise, and would consider using other forms of media as necessary. We don't want to duplicate messaging from the province, or definitely do not want to contradict official messaging, but we do want to stress that the City of Dauphin is informed and that we do have the best interests of our residents and staff in mind. Second thing I wanted to update on is the Public Utility Board rate study. So the City of Dauphin is using utility rates as outlined in Bylaw 15/2012, which is, it was prescribed by Public Utility Board Order number 109/13. The bylaw outlines utility rates for 2013 to 2018 inclusive, and for 2019 and 2020, we have been using utility rates as set at the 2018 rate. And that is by permission by the Public Utility Board. Usually, a municipality would do a rate study when it's coming to the end of their time that they have rates listed as. However, it feels like we've been on the cusp of getting our lagoon upgraded for several years now, and we did not want to go through the process of doing a rate study if just in the following year we would get funding for that lagoon. However, because we've gone 2 full years now without getting funding for the lagoon, and we're not sure if that will happen in 2021 or not, we did bite the bullet and did that rate study this summer. And one of the reasons that we needed to do it and did not feel comfortable to continue on using those 2018 rates was that the provincial requirements to reduce phosphorus and ammonia levels in our wastewater effluent has changed since that board order was made in 2012. So we do have some increased costs that we did not foresee, and that is why we did that rate study. So the Director of Finance is working on that, and we will be discussing it at the September 21st Planning and Priority Committee meeting with first reading of the bylaw for September 28. The process after that first reading is that it will go to the Public Utility Board to review. The Public Utility Board will work with the city to make sure that all of the information is to the board's satisfaction, and then they will decide if there is a public hearing or a paper review of that request. When talking to Jennifer Dubois, the Assistant Associate Secretary of the Public Utility Board, she indicated it is overly optimistic for us to expect the new order to be approved by January 1st. But what we intend to do is put January 1st as the deadline in the first reading of the bylaw. And then once we hear back from the Public Utility Board, some feedback of how long it will take, then we will adjust that effective rate accordingly. We do note that we want to have it start at on a quarter, so either April 1st or July 1st of 2021 if January is not possible. And the last time I wanted to update you on is the purchase of the CN land between our city shop and the Fort Dauphin Museum. And we did place an offer to purchase that land back in 2016. We saw that the land had a lot of potential, including expansion for our current shop, formalization and beautification of the parking lot for Fort Dauphin Museum, some active transportation or walking trails along the river, and then commercial or industrial development of the remaining land along Jackson. However, during the subdivision stage, we ran into what turned into years of delay because the CN land's description referenced the Vermilion River, and the river moved, and therefore the description was incorrect. However, we did work with our local land surveyor and found a solution, and were able to proceed with the sale. So this past week, I have been in contact with CN, and we are very close to finalizing those last sets of documents. And we talked about a possession date just in the coming days in September here. So I will keep council informed on that. And that concludes my report.
Any questions of the city manager? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report for the September 14th, 2020 regular council meeting, and that of the ICT manager. Any questions of the report? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin. Seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that the finance accounts having been examined by council be hereby authorized and approved. Checks 26961 to 27058 for 98 checks for $384,944.13. There was no cancellation, voided checks. Electronic payments during August, there was 4 of them for $181,974.85, and mainly payroll. Some of the bigger checks that went out, the for rec services, $44,000 to $254.09. That's for Communities in Bloom, and the conversion of the Rotary Ice Plant. OSS July 18,000 to 4739, and that's for recycling. Receiver general source deductions 35,609.06, and Stilkowski for 21,172 for and 20 cents for various gravel. Any questions? Call the questions. Question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements for the period July 31st, 2020, including the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions of it? I think I know it's coming up in a next motion. Everything seems on track, so that's a good sign. Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved, the council accepts information, the reserve report for July 2020. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for July 2020, and the Director of Finance prepared a report, and as mentioned before, there was really nothing outstanding. Everything seems to be on track. So any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved, the council accepts as information the minutes of the following and reports of the following committees: the Port Dauphin Museum regular board meetings July 8th and 5th and August 5th, managers reports of August 5th and 2nd and September 2nd, financials, Intermountain Watershed meetings, the Conservation Standing Committees, July 15th, 2020, and the Riverside Cemetery Board regular board meeting of August 13th, 2020. Any questions there? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Whereas the regular council meeting of January 13th, 2020, by resolution number 2020-18 designated November 18th, 2020 at 10 a.m. as a date for the 2020 tax sale, and whereas the province of Manitoba suspended tax sale proceedings until September 21st, 2020 due to COVID-19, thereby delaying the City of Dauphin 2020 tax sale, and be it resolved that Council accepts this information correspondence from tax service dated September 1st, 2020, advising that the City of Dauphin 2020 tax sale will be held March 17th on St. Patrick's Day 2021 at 10 a.m. in the council chambers. And that's due to, like, we extended the deadline for provincial, our taxes to September 30th, 2020. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Skylo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Whereas Allison Moss, Director of the Parkland Regional Library, on behalf of the Dauphin Public Library, submitting the grant application to the Provincial Building Sustainable Communities Grant Program to replace the east and south windows and improve the exterior of the Dauphin Public Library, which is owned by the City of Dauphin, and whereas the province of Manitoba granted $75,000 matching funds up to a maximum cost of $150,000 through the Building Sustainable Communities Program to complete the repairs of the Dauphin Public Library building. And whereas on July 7th, 2020, the City of Dauphin posted a request for quotes to replace the windows along the east and south walls of the Dauphin Public Library, which closed July 24th, 2020. Be it resolved, the Council accepts this information and memorandum dated August 28th, 2020 from Allison Moss, Director of the Parkland Regional Library, outlining the 3 quotes received for replacing the windows along the east and south walls of the Dauphin Public Library and recommending the following contractor, Horizon Glass, for a total proposal of $61,891, including GST. And further be it resolved, the Council agrees that the above recommendation and advises the Director of the Public Regional Library to grant the request for proposal to Horizon Glass to replace the windows along the east and south walls of the Dauphin Public Library. And further be it resolved, the Council authorizes additional expenses related to building repairs as approved by the City Manager up to a maximum amount as approved by the Building Sustainable Communities Grant. And further be it resolved that the City of Dauphin contribution towards this project up to a maximum of $60,000 shall come from the city's civic building reserve. So Allison was very successful in her. We've had problems on the on the east walls and the south window walls. Basically, they're just ordinary pane now, and there's quite a bit of heat loss through them. And also on the south side, there's some work to be done on the windows and also on repairing some of the damage on the south wall. So it'll improve the definitely in terms of energy conservation, improve the Dauphin and Parkland Regional Library headquarters. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas bylaw enforcement is responsible for enforcing the City of Dauphin bylaws, and whereas council wishes to provide a consistent and fair process to respond to service delivery concerns and general enforcement of municipal bylaws by achieving voluntary compliance through education and information or thorough enforcement action where deemed necessary. And whereas administration recommends implementing a bylaw enforcement complaint policy to establish clear guidelines addressing bylaw enforcement complaints, investigations, and enforcement responses. Be it resolved that council accepts as information policy 3.7, bylaw enforcement complaint policy, outlining the City of Dauphins processes and procedures for accepting and handling of bylaw complaints and general enforcement of municipal bylaws. And further, be it resolved that council approves policy 3.7, bylaw enforcement complaint policy. Any questions?
I have a question, please, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Could you remove me from that resolution, please? And can I get a recorded vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Councillor Juba. So record for the complaint bylaw. Councillor Bellemare. Anybody else? Councillor Laughlin, Councillor Juba, are you on? Eilers? Sorry? No?
Yeah, in favor.
Councillor Eilers?
No, I would want further review, especially with the bylaw officer position not filled.
Okay. So we have 4. Laughlin. Juba. Bellemare. And Stakilo. And myself. Against is Eilers and yeah. So we have 5 people for it and 2 against. So the bylaw of the complaint policy is passed. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information correspondence dated August 19th from 2020 from Rachel Sador, Chief Administrative Officer of the CNUF, requesting a letter of support from the City of Dauphin to accompany their building communities through arts and heritage grant. Further, be it resolved that council indeed does support the CNUF organization and appreciates all that they do to keep the Ukrainian heritage alive and well in our community, and supports their grant application to assist with the 2021 edition of Canada's National Ukrainian Festival. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas Real Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 24th to 27th, 2020, and whereas it is in the public interest to raise citizens' awareness of the dangers of ignoring safety warnings at level crossings and trespassing on real property to reduce avoidable deaths, injuries, and damage caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public-private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, and police services, media, and other to raise rail safety awareness. And whereas CN has requested the City Council adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing awareness to raise, save lives and prevent injuries in communities, including our municipality, be it resolved that Council supports National Rail Safety Week to be held from September 21st to 27th, 2020. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Lachlan and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the City of Dauphin Property Standards Bylaw requires that every structure, porch, shed, stairway, and fence in or on any premise shall be maintained in good repair. Be it resolved, the Council accepts this information correspondence dated August 31st, 2020 from Ron and Diane Chachuk, requesting to move 2 shed structures from outside of the City of Dauphin to their property located on 20 Johnson Street. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts as information the memorandum dated September 14th, 2020 from the building inspector, Dave Derkach, advising that the base shed is acceptable. However, the blue shed is in disrepair and does not comply with the City of Dauphin Property Standards Bylaw. Further, be it resolved, the Council agrees with the building inspector's recommendation that the base shed is acceptable, but the blue shed cannot be moved into the City of Dauphin to 2020 Johnson Street. I think that's a late addition. Has everybody got the information on that? Is any questions on it? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Now we'll go with councillor privileges, and we'll start with, I guess, I can't remember what last time was. Deputy Mayor Riel, I think. Did you go last time first?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'll go if that's okay, Christian.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On August 17th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. On the 24th, I attended the Planning and Priorities meeting. Then we had the AMM Visit Regional Virtual Zoom meeting last week. September 9th, we had a Protective Services meeting with the RCMP. September 10th, we had the Chamber Board meeting, which was a virtual Zoom meeting. And just to let our citizens know that my name has gone forward as the nomination for the Vice President of the AMM Executive. That will close on November 21st, I believe, is voting. And what I found interesting was historically, I guess, nobody from Dauphin has sat on that board in the past. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask me in regards to what that entails or why I believe we need a voice on that committee, please contact myself. And herein ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. On August 27th, I attended the liaison committee meeting with the Rural Municipality of Dauphin via Zoom. So we're still meeting with the rural municipality and we're working through all kinds of items and it's very productive. September the 8th, I attended the Dauphin Community Foundation meeting via Zoom. And the foundation is celebrating their 25th anniversary this fall. So 25 years in Dauphin. We're looking for an innovative, safe way to celebrate this milestone. On September 9th, I attended the WAC Building Committee meeting. And that's our first meeting in several months. And several maintenance issues have been addressed during that time, including the brickwork on the bell tower. Peter Nadolny, who's the administrator of the building, is doing an awesome job keeping the WAC running smoothly. Some community events on September the 2nd, I attended a Culture Days meeting. And this year it will be Culture Month rather than Culture Days over one weekend. Two things to watch for shortly. One is there will be a interesting COVID display that will be set up in the Mega Deals window at the end of this week. And then also there's going to be a new style yard fringe that will be happening on September 26th. So keep watching the Facebook page for more details. Upcoming next week on September 22nd at 7, the WAC is going to have their AGM. And this meeting will be held in person with all the safety protocols being practiced. If you're interested in the arts or if you're interested in the things happening at the WAC, please mark this date on your calendar and come on down. And if you love that great highway that we have going through Riding Mountain National Park, and you want to keep it that way, you may want to assist with this. You probably noticed that trucks with over three axles are discouraged from driving through the park. When they rebuilt that road, they didn't design it for heavy trucks. So heavy trucks on there will quickly break it down. So if you see semis driving on that road, please call Jasper Dispatch and the park wardens will follow that up. And by the way, hydro and propane trucks, they have permission to travel through there. So if you want to help keep this road in great repair for your trips down south or to the cyclists, I have a phone number that's in the report that will be online. And also just a big welcome back to school. Deputy Mayor did a great job with her welcome message. And I just wanted to add a few words. I know it's been very stressful leading up to the school opening. And we all know that a great deal of planning has gone for a safe startup. We know much more about COVID and how to prevent its spread. So a big thank you to all the parents and staff and students for your preparation and your hard work and your bravery. We're sending our best wishes that this will be a safe, productive learning year for everyone. And that concludes my report.
Councillor Bellemare, are there plans for a giveaway weekend?
I know that they canceled that in Winnipeg, so I'm wondering if maybe that's the decision the staff is going to make, because usually that does happen in the fall. Maybe the city manager would want to comment?
It's Councillor Eilers, and we decided with COVID that we would not proceed with that,
Okay.
following what's being done in other communities.
Okay.
Very good. So who's next? Councillor Juba.
Thank you, Your Worship, Mr. Mayor. I attended the August 17th regular council meeting here at City Hall. On August the 20th, I attended the Dauphin Regional Airport Authority Committee board meeting here at City Hall as well. On August the 24th, I was absent. I was unable to attend the Planning and Priorities meeting, and because of a readjustment in the schedule, I also wasn't able to attend the Workplace Health and Safety Committee meeting. However, I did get updates from those meetings, and thank you to those people that took time to sit down with me and update me on what I missed. On September the 9th, I attended the Protective Services Committee meeting here at City Hall. Some community stuff. Also, in my notes here, I want to welcome all the students back to their new school year and the new school plan. I also want to commend Deputy Mayor Riel for her presentation. It was well done, well put together. So just something totally different. Yesterday, I attended the Riverside Cemetery's community stroll. it was actually quite interesting to hear some historical background research provided by Al Gray. Seeing as that I'm both on the cemetery committee and the airport committee, I learned a few things about both the airport and the Dauphin Riverside Cemetery, and I just want to compliment the caretakers of the Riverside Cemetery for making sure that the cemetery was in excellent condition for this event. It really looked good yesterday, and for those people that were there, it was well attended actually throughout the afternoon. And I just want to pass on a big condolence to the McKay family. My colleague from work passed away rather suddenly, and just want to make sure that his family is in our thoughts. And that ends my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Juba. Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. August 17th, City Council. On August 24th, I had Planning and Priority meeting, and August 26th, Healthy Together Now Committee meeting and discussion about doing workshops, which we are on hold until we see what's happening with students going back to school and where COVID is right now. I guess it's an ever-changing landscape. September 3rd, I too attended the municipal tour virtual meeting at City Hall. And I just wanted to congratulate the Dauphin Fire Department making a successful rescue of 2 people on Dauphin Lake. That was wonderful. It's great to see that they had the resources, and the boat and the individuals were all safely returned to safe land. I want to thank Deputy Mayor Real for her welcoming message to parents and students and staff, very uplifting. And I also want to wish her all the best and support her in her bid for a position with the Executive Board of the AMM, of course, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities. This will really increase our representation from our rural communities. I'd also like to congratulate Oksana Ivanchevsko, a recent grad from the DRCSS, for being awarded a 2,500 scholarship from 4-H Canada. She's been very active in the 4-H, including public speaking, and is now starting studies in agriculture animal systems in the UFS. And I'd like to welcome all the staff, students and staff back. It's a new school year. Keep safe, and hope for everybody to be conscious of what they're doing. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Councillor Stakilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, August 17th, regular council meeting. And then on August 20th, an airport board meeting. And I too was in attendance for the August 24th Planning and Priorities meeting. And then August 26th, we had a Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal Corporation meeting. And, you know, some great news coming out of Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal. We were able to welcome Amanda Ledrew as the new executive director. She started on September 8th. And from what I've heard from our current chair, Phil Fafard, she's hit the ground running and getting acquainted with everything that DNRC is doing. And we were also able to welcome some new board members. So we're very fortunate that people put their name forward and are stepping up to do the work. Those include Kara Vanderheyden, Tabby Enamontes, and Harley Gruitt. So we look forward to having them on the board as well. And we're fortunate on the DNRC board to have to be able to have a large complement of board members. So if there is anybody else out there that wants to put their name forward, I definitely would encourage them to get in touch with Amanda to put your name forward to be a board member. The DNRC does a lot of good work in the community, and it's always great to have a very diverse representation from our community on that board. I too want to thank Deputy Mayor Riel for her message to the to the incoming students and teachers for the upcoming school year, and want to say to the students and to the teachers for this year coming up, you know, just some encouraging words, and thank you for all your hard work, effort, and preparation into the school year, and to have the best of luck and to stay safe. And with that, that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Sakala. Councillor Loughlin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, August 17th, regular council meeting here at City Hall. On the 24th, the planning and priorities meeting here, also at City Hall. Then I came back to City Hall again on September the 3rd for the virtual meeting with AMM execs. That was a lot of good discussion there about the items concerning Dauphin and the Parkland. Just a couple of things, been really busy for me just getting ready for Dauphin Kings camp. It starts this weekend. Dauphin Kings and the Manitoba Junior Hockey League will be the only junior hockey league in Canada playing, starting in October with our home opener on the 9th. So that's really exciting to be a part of that and kind of leading the way when it comes to the recovery from COVID-19 for junior hockey across Canada. And one more thing before I end my report, it's kind of cool. I saw this today. I know the guy really well. I know this is a community that is obviously a big hockey community, but it's also a big curling community. And Ray Baker, who's really well known in Dauphin, was elected to Curl Manitoba as the president recently at the organization's AGM. So I thought that was really cool that Ray Baker's the president of Curl Manitoba. They've been around for 133 years, and there's only been 2 Dauphin curlers as president on that board. I'll leave it open if anyone knows the answer to that. Does anyone know the other curler? No, not Ralph Wilson, although he has been around for 133 years. But no, it's Marg Ritchie. So I just thought that was really cool. So congratulations, Ray Baker. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Loughlin. Myself attended planning and priorities on August 24th. We had the RM City Liaison Committee, and there's a report in section 13 on that. The municipal tour, AMM virtual one, that was I thought, a very good meeting, and got a lot of answers, and especially on the centralization of services by the current government. On the 8th, they had a handyman meeting. On Wednesday, the 9th, a 3:30 Protective Services Committee, and very good response from the RCMP, and they certainly are doing an excellent job in protecting our community and facing all the challenges that is thrown at them. And on the 10th, we had the Parkland Regional meeting in St. Rose, and that was well attended, and also we took city manager and I going there took all the detours, and boy, we saw a lot of country that we never saw before. But anyway, I can't remember, city manager, what the main focus. Oh, the main focus is on getting our Indigenous community involved in regional economic planning and that.
As well as focus on tourism in the Parkland.
That's right. Okay. Thank you very much. And also, I congratulate Deputy Mayor Riel on her message on back to school COVID stuff. You know, that's was very well put together, and also all the best in her run for the AMM executive. And after hearing her message on Facebook, consider the premier or prime minister job in the future, not right now. So thank you very much. And moved by Councillor Lachlan, seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel. Be it resolved that council meeting be recessed at